It's where stars are born. I feel good. And legends are made.
It was all a dream.
Step inside the legendary Apollo Theater.
Ladies and gentlemen, showtime at the Apollo.
With an exclusive limited run channel. Hear from artists inspired by the iconic venue, those who knew it best, and of course, the music. Celebrate Black History Month on the Apollo Theater Channel, now for a limited time.
Channel 107 and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
If you're looking for great American comedy, Larry the Cable Guy here. Hilarious live shows and interviews of the best comedians working today. Check out
Jeff and Larry's Comedy Roundup.
We've got live shows like Larry the Cable Guy and the Fun Bunch.
You're just winging stuff off each other, just telling stories.
And a Comic Mind with Jeff Foxworthy.
Backstage interviews with your favorite comedians.
And more.
Jeff and Larry's Comedy Roundup.
To hear Jeff Foxworthy's A Comic Mind and Larry the Cable Guy's Fun Bunch, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/go.
And nobody brings you closer to the biggest event of the year than SiriusXM Super Bowl 58 Radio. The stars of the sports and entertainment worlds converge in Las Vegas, and we'll be covering them all.
Flavor Flav.
I've always been a big fan of football.
Yeah, boy. It's the only place to hear the game. Plus the Apple Music halftime show starring Usher. Your ticket to everything happening at the Super Bowl is Super Bowl 58 Radio, Channel 106 in the car, and on the all-new SiriusXM app.
We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SiriusXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artist you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see. You gotta get there you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see. You gotta get
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs, and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at equityzonemortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you, as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 0181486.
Rondo Deportes, bonjour, vidi vidi vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Jonathan of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me, and people who love the universe. And that would include you. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Today is a beautiful February the 6th. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them sit ya where the good Lord split you, if that makes sense to you. But that might hurt also. I want to tell you, you can follow Big C Sports, and it don't hurt, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, on 29 podcast applications all over the universe. You can find us also streaming on 4 TV platforms. Really do appreciate that. Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. I don't want to make this announcement with my best English. I don't want to make this announcement with my best English. What'd you say, Big C? I said, I don't want to make this announcement with my best English. I want to say, I woke up this morning, and it was nice in Denver Hills. And when someone told me it was Black History Month, I said, I thought it was Black History Year. Because I've been black all year. Give me some praise. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I love being black. Beautiful, black, and lovely. Don't let this spruce taste fool ya. Oh man, I love life. I want to say I produced the show. I directed topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the sound effects. Based on the platform provided by the agency. And then the commercials are done. The stats I provided. The storytelling, I do that. I do the play-by-play up to the line. It's going to be the 1st and 10, 50-yard line. 49 is Brock Purdy. And the Kansas City in a 5-man front. The snap rolling to his right. Rolling, throws downfield. The ball is. It is caught. Caught for the touchdown. Touchdown. Niners. Debo Samuel. 50 yards. And that's Super Bowl 58. That's what I'm projecting anyway. And then I also upload the show. It goes out to 29 podcast platforms out of New York City. And then number 10, I never missed a show since creating Big C Sports with the crew back in the days at Salem Media. And also, I'm telling you, it goes out to the platforms as well, 4 TV platforms. And I want to say, give that some praise. It's not easy. It's not easy to do something every day, Monday through Friday, and I never miss a time. Not one time have I missed a show, and I'm not going to, thank God. Even some days have been joy, pain, and sunshine and rain on this journey called Big C Sports. But I just want to say I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that the universe has allowed me to do my thing with Big C Sports Podcast. I'm also grateful to be a part to pay homage to the Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You know anybody going through issues, pick up the phone, call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give it some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. I know I need somebody to lean on, and it's always nice when somebody is leaning back. Really do paying homage to our Veterans Crisis Hotline. I want to say thank you to Xfinity Comcast TV and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports in the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, reparations forever. And then God said, let there be light. I'm telling you, I must have had an epiphany. What's an epiphany, Big C? You can Google epiphany. It's a moment of intuitive insight and intuition. For Black History Month, I've been saying for a lot of our brethren, we know we love football, basketball, apple pie, all that good old stuff, but honoring Dr. King's legacy. And there have been thousands of people all over the country honoring the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And what he did was he had a big push for civil rights. And it's like a birthday. Sometimes people treat MLK Day like a birthday. Every 365 days you get another one, if God allows you to see that. But with MLK, it transcends sports because right now we have Super Bowl 58 coming up in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I love talking about that because I love this business. Been around it. My first Super Bowl was Super Bowl, I want to say 33 back in the day, if that makes sense to you, down in San Diego. But what I love about this push for reparations for descendants of child slavery, and I was just saying not too long ago, we could just get some of our mainstream to start talking about it, and that to me is starting to happen. I do want to say with Big C Sports, I want to say thank you to T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network, proud sponsors of Big C Sports Podcast. Really do appreciate that. I want to thank PNC Private Bank, proud sponsors of Big C Sports. I won $6 billion, and I'm not shucking and jiving. I want to win the lottery. Sometimes you say things, and it comes true, and you have no idea if you're just saying things that come true because it was time for them to come true, or because God said that death and life is in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. And also the book of James, chapter 4, verse 2 said, ye have not because you ask not. So I won $6 billion. I'm not shucking and jiving. I do mean that because I want to. Why not? I want to pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force. And, you know, when someone says Zuckerberg makes billions of dollars every year, and no one says, oh, man, why you want to be a multi-billionaire? No one ever asked him that. But sometimes, as a man, a beautiful, intelligent black man, 9 series DNA, I want $6 billion. And then some people would say, well, you got to have a plan to get it. I do have a plan to give God praise. I've been praising God for a radio show before I even had a podcast. That was my plan. Just started doing it. Emerson said, do the thing and you'll have the power. And I'm so honored with Big C Sports Podcast. I don't want to be just another black and white touchdown, home run, three-point play. Who won the game? What was the score? I mean, that's fine and dandy. But something to me, it hits my spirit. I learned it when I was a young boy growing up in the church. I had a pastor who was fire and brimstone. He always spoke as if everything he said God was going to make come true. And oftentimes I'm thinking maybe that man was onto something, that brother was onto something that a lot of people can get onto today. What pool do you want to swim in? I remember watching over the weekend a movie called, it was a great movie. It was called Origin. I give it a 10 out of 10. And it dealt with race. It dealt with the caste system, the skin color, the caste system, whether you're in India or in Europe. It dealt with the Holocaust. It dealt with slavery. It dealt with black and white relations, Jim Crow, apartheid. It dealt with a lot of things. And it also dealt with Lita. Like Lita, at the end of the day, Lita was the most prominent role in that movie Origin, but Lita didn't have a face. Well, Lita, what's Lita, Big C? Lita is L-I-T-A for love is the answer. Love is the answer in a lot of things that we do. You know, love can help. It can help cancel wars. Love can help people forgive and not tear each other down. Love can help countries get along, and debutante can depend on Lita. Whoever knew that Lita was so powerful? So I'm going to give some Lita to the talk of reparations in the California Reparations Task Force, because they don't have to do it. They can say, hey, I'm fine, my bank account's full. And I've been saying, I know we want to watch touchdown, home run, three-point play. Oh, man, Willie, he's going on me. But I was talking to some friends and just getting some thoughts about what I do with Big C Sports Podcast. And I want to make sure that I do the best I can, because it's my heart, mind, body, and soul that I put into it. So when it comes to it, I want to make sure that when it comes to reparations, it's not just about Big C giving you scores. I really want to do what I don't think many people do in the universe, and that's pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force, because it's going to happen. And even some of our Hollywood celebrities are now starting to say, reparations is necessary. But I want to give praise, unlike anybody else. I've been doing this since the task force happened. I want to give praise to the chairwoman, and I met every single member of the California Reparations Task Force, so I feel like I'm justified in paying homage to them. The chair, Camila Moore, she's brilliant. I love giving her praise. Dr. Amy C. Brown, the vice chair, he's brilliant. I love giving him praise. Senator Stephen Bradford, he's brilliant. I love giving them praise. I have all their phone numbers, if that makes sense to you. Councilmember Monica Montgomery Steppe, she's brilliant. I love giving her praise. Assemblymember Reginald Jones Sawyer, he's brilliant. I love giving him praise. Dr. Shell Grills, she's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I love Attorney Lisa Holder, she's brilliant. I love giving her praise. Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, he's brilliant. A professor at California Berkeley, I love giving him praise. And Attorney Donald K. Tamaki at law, Japanese American on the task force. He's the only one to get reparations when Japanese were interned in internment camps. But give them all praise. Isn't it amazing? Only the non-African American has gotten reparations. We got to change that. We really do. I want to let's call it a Big C pause and show you why it's so important that the reparations task force is so valuable. You can't refute what you're going to hear in just a moment.
The problem. At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. Now, this is what we are faced with. And this is a reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
You gotta give that some praise. I mean, I love that about Dr. King, because most of us, we've been so conditioned to think touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Oh man, Willie, he's going all the way. And a lot of us, we fall for that. We fall for the banana in the tailpipe. I'm going to get into sports too, but unlike people who just want to stay linear, I'm so happy today because I'm starting to hear what I was told. Oh, Big C, you gonna sound like a fool talking about reparations. But now I don't sound like a fool. And not that I wait for mainstream to join what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's nice when you find other people that show up with the same conscious level. Of course, we can get on with the game, but none of us own sports teams. No black person owns an NFL football team, but we can't wait to stand up for the kickoff. Touchdown, Chiefs! Touchdown, Niners! But what I want to do is stand up for something that's a lot more important, in my opinion, than just playing sports. I want you to listen to another excerpt from a prominent actress. And when you hear her name, you can't say you don't know her name.
This initiative and a month-long Nightline event examining the racial reckoning happening in America right now, which measures could lead to change and reconciliation. I did a little something for them. I voiced some stuff for them about, right now, reparations, and we'd love you to take a look.
Reparations, the act of making amends. Why is it so controversial, and why are so many people calling for it now? To examine that, we have to go back in time about 400 years. 1526, the Spanish bring 100 enslaved Africans to what is now the Carolinas and Georgia. They were the first known slaves on American soil. We know what happened next. For the next 350 years, Africans were enslaved, beaten, tortured, and killed. They built the White House. They fought in wars. Their labor built the American economy. And then came the Civil War and freedom. Promises of 40 acres and later on a mule. They were free, sort of. There were black codes allowing black people to be arrested for things like being out at night or not working as a servant. And then there was Jim Crow, a set of laws that denied African Americans all sorts of rights. If you violated them, it could get you arrested or even killed. Then there were housing discrimination laws and a practice called redlining, where federal and local governments denied black people home loans. And urban renewal, which in many cases built businesses and highways that forced black people out of their homes. Since this country's beginnings, an incalculable number of black lives, homes, jobs, and wealth have been lost. So the question is, can it be repaid?
And I want to give that some praise. That's the great Whoopi Goldberg talking about reparations the same way Big C Sports talks about it. So I just love hearing that I'm not the only one. That we have mainstream actress and actors like the great Whoopi Goldberg that talks about something that's so important. It's more important than touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Oh man, Willie, he's going all the way. I'm trying to get my point across. And as Big C Sports, when I hear more of our mainstream, now they're joining, what's it called? There was a movie called Get on the Bus back in the day, and now more and more people are talking about that. So I really do appreciate that. You can also Google Freedman's Bank, because it's so important. Why is it so important, Big C? Because people got to realize there's a lot of stuff that happened in the past for African Americans. Freedman's Bank, United States Bank, and I'm telling you, it's so important. You can Google it. It was chartered by the United States Congress March 3rd of 1865 to provide a place for former slaves to safely store their money after several successful years in which freedmen deposited more than $60 million into that bank. They had 50 trustees, and they were all Caucasian in a black bank. 50 trustees. It was Freedmen's Savings and Trust Company as a non-profit financial institution. President Abraham Lincoln immediately signed the bill into law, and then when you think about what happened, it's egregious. According to the charter of the Freedmen's Bank, the money deposited was to be invested in stocks, bonds, treasury notes, or other securities of the United States. But unlike a conventional bank, the bank was forbidden to make loans to its depositors. That's egregious. Imagine going to your bank and they take your money in, but you can't get a loan for a business, to buy a house, go to school, anything. They let the white people do it. And that's part of why reparations are so necessary. Now, you heard Dr. King. You heard Whoopi Goldberg. You hear Big C all the time. I want to get our brethren for the NFL to talk about reparations. You know, the NFL Super Bowl 58 is about to be celebrated in Las Vegas, Nevada. Would you believe that about 75% of the NFL football players are descendants of chattel slavery? Oh, Big C, can't we just watch the game? I'm telling you, about 75% of the NFL players in Super Bowl 58, they are descendants of chattel slavery. And now the NFL is going to put in racism on the back of the end zone, and that's fine. And they're going to put, it takes all of us on the other end, and that's great. But I feel right now we're at a crescendo in life where the decent people are starting to say, you know what? It's the right thing to do. I know they're going to say go to Vegas and spend $7. $7? Okay, $10 on a bottle of water. Spend $8. $8! Okay, $12 on a slice of pizza. And spend $100. $100? How about a few $1,000s on a ticket? Because everything's over the top in Vegas. And that's just free enterprise. But you know what they're doing? Charging $7. $7! Okay, $9 for a bottle of water. $7 for a slice. $7! Okay, $12 for a slice of pizza. A few $100s for a ticket. Or a few hundred! Okay, a few $1,000s for a ticket. You know what they're doing? They're getting paid. Which is what descendants of chattel slavery never got. And they got us so hooked on the game. I'm not talking about practice. I'm talking about the game. I'm not talking about practice. I'm talking about the game. And to me, it's so powerful. I just told you about Freedmen's Bank and why it's so important to understand Freedmen's Bank. Because right now, as we are standing up for the kickoff, would you believe in California, as we stand up for the kickoff, right now, the number one senator that I already talked about in the country, in my opinion, is California Senator Stephen Bradford. Right now, in the California legislature, he's introduced Senate Bill 490 to reestablish Freedmen's Bureau. Can you imagine that? I'll say it one more time. You've heard Dr. King on the Big C Sports Show. You've heard Whoopi Goldberg on the Big C Sports Show. And you're hearing it now. California Senator Stephen Bradford. He introduced to the California State Legislature Senate Bill 490 to establish Freedmen's Bureau. You know what that bureau is necessary for? For paying out reparations. Reparations now, reparations forever. I gotta say that because if we don't talk about it, then nobody will. And with Big C Sports, I want to make sure that I'm a part of that. I don't want to just be some guy shucking and jiving. That's important. I'm going to get into some sports also, but we got to realize that we are so close to this happening now. And I know many people are just kind of asleep. And it's all people. It's not just about black Americans. And what I want to say also is with the Big C team, we have a guide to protect and preserve and transfer wealth. When this money comes in, you're going to need some asset protection. What kind of protection, Big C? Asset! What kind of protection? Asset! You mean like asset? No, asset! Asset protection. Hut 1, Hut 2, asset! Asset protection. I know we're watching the football games, but it's in conjunction with a lot of great people that have put together a resource development consulting Inc. And the Big C, as a business development consultant, I want to reach out to people with the National Black Wall Street Project and help people understand that we all need help in protecting our assets. There's a project that was done by the Lyndon Johnson administration called Civil Rights. And when he signed the Civil Rights Bill, Dr. King was right there with him. I know we all got shucking. We were so focused on business back then, and now we're focused on who can win a game. But we got to go back to this too. I told you 75% of the football players at Super Bowl 58, they're descendants of chattel slavery with the 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. You can know that. But you got to learn how to protect your wealth. We have long-term care solutions by the book, over 3 decades of experience helping seniors get their benefits. People don't know that it was an entitlement signed by the Lyndon Baines Johnson administration. Truman had worked on it for 20 years. But long-term care is an entitlement if you check the right boxes. Just like in Super Bowl 58, they're going to be trying to check down for a pass or a run. Are they going to blitz? Are they going to throw deep? Are they going to be a short gain, a screen, a post, a curl route? Whatever it is, they're going to call the plays on the field. And hopefully, if they get enough good offensive plays, you'll hear touchdown 49ers or touchdown Kansas City. You'll get that. But Black Americans, especially in California, are about to score a touchdown too. I want to give that some praise with the reparations task force. And it's some legislation now. It's going to happen. And I really do appreciate that. And that's California Senator Stephen Bradford. Really do appreciate him, along with the other members of the California Reparations Task Force. Also want to say, for those of you who just want to watch the game, I'm going to get into the game. And what gives me some credibility is a pretty sad dog that don't wag his own tail. I know because I had one of those dogs. He would never wag his tail. I'm going to say, when people say, Big C, why you talk so much about politics? I thought I was listening to a sports show. I got to tell you something that's so important. It's important to me. And it's been important to me for a long time. Some people say, you always say something important. But I got to say that with what I'm doing with Big C Sports and reparations, I may not be the wealthiest podcaster in the universe, but I'm going to be the most conscientious podcaster, because when reparations happens, I can look back and say I've been talking about this stuff for about 5 years now, and other people are getting involved. But what I want to do is add to the credibility of what's happening that God has been doing in my life. I mean, when people write something about you, it means they know who you are. They're paying attention. Anyone can say their opinion, but is your opinion picked up by the number one media in the United States? And with Big C Sports, I can say for a fact it has been. And that gives me some credibility, even for the people that say, man, you talk too much politics on your program. And now it says NBC News, California Reparations, March 30, 2023. You got to understand, it says Charlton Curry of Sacramento, California, who discusses Big C, think about it, who discusses reparations on his Big C Sports podcast, and so that cash payments are necessary. Oh, then you're again bragging on yourself. I'm not bragging, I'm just saying it's in the Associated Press. They don't do stories on you if they don't vet who you are. My show goes all over the world, and I'm saying it wouldn't get that far if somebody didn't like it. And then to even write about it, even though some people say, oh, it's too controversial, it's not controversial. I want to tell you what else God has led me to. I didn't ask for this, but it's happening. And I want to just make sure that I pay homage because it's truthful. And if you can tell me that it's not as important as sports, I would say that's not true. It's more important than sports. I tell you about asset protection. I'm doing commercials on how to protect your assets. Two. What are you going to protect, Missy? How to protect your assets. Protecting your assets. And just when I say this, I want to give God praise, because now Big C Team is working in affiliation with Mr. George Jones, the chairman of the California Black Chamber of Commerce and California Black Chamber of Commerce Foundation. Also, Mr. Leon Woods, Resource Development Consulting, one of the top lobbyists in California, and Michelle Brown, the chair of the California Commission on Aging. Also, Mr. Ray Dela Cruz, CEO of Resource Development Consulting, and Mr. Alex Dela Cruz, founder of American Veterans Benefits. And that's with the Big C Team. How did that happen if I was just sucking and driving? I want to give that some praise, because everybody can talk crap, as a lot of people have done with me, and that's okay. But you can't tell me that God hasn't put me with some pretty powerful people in California. And I want to make sure that people learn how to protect their assets. That's important, just like protecting your football, your quarterback against the blitz. So as I say these things, I want to make sure I also pay homage to people that have helped me with Big C Sports Podcast. It's not just me. When you do good things, people oftentimes can show up and be of help to you. And I want to do that because more and more people are going to realize, as this reparations hits off, it's going to be bigger than the Super Bowl for a few men on the team, 53 men on an NFL roster. It's about the black diaspora. I want to thank Double O, part of the payout committee for the National Black Wall Street Project, because she sent me an article. She didn't have to send it to me, but she's very good on documentation. And the documentation is something that everybody can Google. Executive Order 13985 on further advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government. That's the White House. 00 sent that to me. People got to understand. You can Google it. Also, I want to give praise to Senators Marco Rubio and Senator Rick Scott out of Florida. They reintroduced a bill to restore Holocaust survivors' rights. Nothing wrong with that. I want to thank Georgetown University because they paid out over $1 billion and counting to 272 families descendants of child slavery that were sold off to help build Georgetown University. They were sold. No one protected their assets. But now they're trying to pay homage to their family. I want to thank 00 Payout Committee for the National Black Wall Street Project. She sent me an article from the United Nations. It said that strong leadership and political will are crucial to ensure reparatory justice for people of African descent. I want to give that some praise. I'm going to get into sports too because Super Bowl 58 is big. But if you don't hear about it now, you probably won't hear about it other places too. And back to what we're doing with professional athletes and business owners, it's important that we talk about these things. At least I want to with Big C Sports. We specialize to navigate and maximize long-term care benefits. That's important. Protection of your assets. Your assets! Especially if you're a quarterback in the football game for Super Bowl 58. If you're Brock Purdy or Patrick Mahomes, you want your offensive lineman to protect your assets! You got to protect your backside. Assets! They got to protect it. And then protection of your assets! Without a spend down, all paperwork and communication with all government agencies are handled by our staff of entitlement specialists, ongoing consulting to provide updates as necessary, benefits covering skilled nursing facilities. 1 out of 2 of us will need them. Prescriptions, medical equipment costs, and more. Protection of your assets! Affleck! I'm not talking about Affleck. That's the duck. What are you saying, Big C? Asset protection! You mean like in the Super Bowl, the quarterback's going to need someone to watch his backslide? What they call that? Protecting your assets! Your assets. They do that. Protection of your assets! Including your home, thereby allowing you to leave a legacy for your family, avoiding the nightmare of debt brought by the government's estate recovery program, and a one-time processing fee versus monthly insurance premiums for the rest of your life. You got to give that some praise. I said give it praise, because they're going to help you protect your assets. 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. Just tell them Big C sent you. So I love talking about that. You can Google all the things going on. Powernomics.com. Dr. Claude Anderson talked about how we can build up with... He talked about in a book, Black Labor, White Wealth. And I want to make sure I touch on one more thing before I get into the Super Bowl. Because it's so powerful to me. Because when Dr. King gave that I Have a Dream speech, that's what people think about when it comes to the I Have a Dream speech. But a lot bigger than that, I was reading something about the Grammys. It says, do black people want more Grammys or more reparations? It says, when will black people stop being snubbed by the Oscars? My question is, when will black women stop being snubbed and black men stop being snubbed for Grammys albums of the year? The last time a black woman won the Grammys, the most coveted album of the year was Lauryn Hill 25 years ago. Think about that. SZA and Taylor Swift, they were at the 65th Grammys Award in Los Angeles last year, 2023. And then we just have the Grammys come up this year. But a question I want to ask people, when they talk about Taylor Swift being no stranger to breaking records, on Sunday night's Grammys, she became the 4-time Album of the Year winner, smashing her tie with record holders like Stevie Wonder, Frank Sinatra. It's a historic win that is not without controversy. Before the coveted Grammys has gone to the likes of John Batista, Bruno Mars, Adele, Beck, just to name a few. This year's nominees, it range from Swift to SZA, Baptiste, Janelle Monáe. There are others out there as well. But when you think about it, no one talks about reparations. And so for black Americans to be upset about being snubbed by the Oscars, Lauryn Hill, the miseducation of Lauryn Hill in 1999, that a black woman has not won the award since then. And this is despite Beyonce being nominated 4 times for albums. How did Lemonade not get his flowers last year? The last black person to win the award was Batiste in 2022. But as I reach out to our black American actors and actresses, I know we want to know who's going to win an Oscars. And the great Jay-Z said the idea that black arts and artists are undervalued at the Grammys did not go unnoticed during the night. The great Jay-Z, the most Grammy-nominated artist, alongside his wife Beyonce, shared this sentiment when he went on stage to receive the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award for his contributions to music. I know you want to know who won the game, but the Brooklyn rapper said in his acceptance speech that the Grammys have come a long way since the rap music categories weren't even televised in the late 1980s. And when he boycotted the awards when fellow rapper, the late DMX, released 2 #1 albums and was completely shut out of the award. He said, "We want you to get it right. We love you, but we want you to get it right. At least get it close to right," the great Jay-Z said on stage with his daughter Blue Ivy Carter, beside him. Now, some of you may get robbed and some of you don't belong on the category. And Jay-Z clarified that obviously it's subjective because it's music and it's opinion-based. But his biggest gripe with the Recording Academy is how someone like Beyonce could be the most, think about it, musician with the most wins of all times, but still not be awarded Album of the Year. He said, "I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than everyone and never won an Album of the Year." He said, he continued, "So even by your own metrics, that doesn't work. Think about that. The most Grammys never won Album of the Year." I want to give him praise for that speech because it's powerful. It's so powerful when you think about it. But I have a thought also. I have a thought to all of our beautiful, intelligent black actors and actresses. It's so important because we have right now in the California legislature, Senate Bill 490, and that's by the #1 senator in the United States of America. His name is Senator Stephen Bradford. And he's pushing for reparations. He's not pushing for us to get more Grammys. He's not pushing for that. And I would just like to ask, the same way you heard Whoopi Goldberg say, we need to start talking about reparations. We think about Whoopi Goldberg, The Color Purple, and now she's on The View. She's a very erudite woman, very smart, and she talked about reparations. It's time to talk about that. And no one should shy away from it. Most countries have paid reparations to address harms. In Big C Sports, I'm bigger than just wanting to talk about touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Old man Willie, he's going all the way. Because when we get reparations, you're going to have to learn how to protect your assets. 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I want more and more of all of us to realize we are not a linear people. We can do more than just talk about sports. That's how they pigeonhole most of our black athletes. Just play sports. Just play with balls. And there's nothing wrong with playing with balls. I've been doing it most of my life, especially since I became a little boy. If that makes sense to you. But at the same time, we as a people, if we don't advocate for ourselves, why are you going to the Grammys begging somebody to give you an award? What if we put that same energy into supporting the California Reparations Task Force? Because none of the beautiful and talented actors that were at the Grammys were at the Secretary of the State of California when Shirley Weber, Secretary of the State, was speaking about reparations. It was a beautiful moment. It was beautiful. None of our great actors were there. I only saw one person from CNN that was there. And that's for our whole people. But I mean, understand, I love what I do in sports. I love our entertainment industry. But if we as a people, if we could just show Senator Stephen Bradford, the #1 senator in the universe, the same respect that we're trying to show the Grammys for ignoring black people, then maybe we can push that train called reparations a little bit further up the track. It's no shame to say that we deserve reparations. You heard Dr. King talk about it. You heard Whoopi Goldberg talk about it. You know you hear Big C Sports talk about it all the time. It's important. And if we can get a few good men and women to stand up and stop begging the Grammys. And put that same energy behind the people who want to pay homage to our ancestry. When we talk about going home for the holidays, we got pictures of great-grandma, great-grandpa, great-great-grandma, great-great-grandpa, great-great-great-grandma, great-great-grandpa on our walls with parents and children and grandchildren. In this meeting that I wish Jay-Z would have been in attendance, it happened June 29th, 2023. It was at the Secretary of State building of the beautiful state of California. It wasn't about getting a Grammy. It was about reparations now, reparations forever. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. And I'm just hoping that more of our beautiful, intelligent black people will start supporting that cause. Because I don't understand why we would complain on television why somebody who doesn't like your butt in the first place, you go to their parties, you dress all nice, you complain that they don't want to acknowledge you, but then you got people trying to throw you a celebration called the California... Come on. I mean, it's so powerful. The California Reparations Task Force. Imagine if our celebrities and entertainers would have come to the Secretary of State building and given Shirley Weber support and Senator Bradford support. What would it have meant to them had they shown up and given support to the chair, Camilla Moore, Senator Stephen Bradford, Councilmember Monica Montgomery Steppe, Assemblymember Reginald Jones Sawyer, Dr. Shell Grills, Attorney Lisa Holder, Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at California Berkeley, and attorney at law Stephen K. Tamaki. What if they had shown up and given them praise? Because they're trying to help black people and all of our ancestry. But we too busy going and blaming white people for not giving us a golden globe or a trophy. That trophy doesn't feed you. You can't eat it. I've won many trophies in my lifetime. I can't eat none of them, and God knows I've tried. I'm like, what's inside of all this gold? Just licking. At the same time, I just want to say, give Big C Sports some praise, because I want to make sure that we get all of our assets protected. 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I'm going to take what's called the Big C pause, and when I come back, for those of you who don't want reparations, I'm going to talk about Super Bowl 58. I'll be back in just a moment. All right, I'm back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 29 podcast applications all across the universe and streaming on 4 TV platforms. Well, here we go. It's time. Super Bowl 58 is right around the corner in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. And as we get ready for Super Bowl week, there's a lot of people ascending on Las Vegas. They've had some rain coming up to this week. I believe the rain's going to end right about Wednesday. So we have, it's going through the east, from the west to the east. So hopefully people will stay safe. But at long last, Super Bowl 58 is here. And after an NFL journey that began during training camps back in the heat and humidity of July, an 18-week, 272-game marathon, and then another playoff game. There were 12 playoff games, and it all comes down to the Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers. Give them praise. Only one team will win. But as I said earlier, NFL, I love the NFL for saying they pay tribute to end racism, and they also say it takes all of us, and I really do appreciate the effort, but I want them to realize that 75% of the players in Super Bowl 58, they're from descendants of chattel slavery, and you don't hear the word reparations mentioned as you heard on Big C Sports, but I know they're going to do it. I know it, and I just want to give them praise for taking the leadership of leading, following, or getting out of the way. So the game to kick off Sunday at 6:30 p.m. East Coast time on a beautiful February the 11th. About 4 hours later, confetti will rain down on a champion or a team that spent 29 years trying to regain the Lombardi Trophy. Now, Kansas City, they're trying to repeat as Super Bowl champions. They beat the Philadelphia Eagles last year. But you think about this city called Sin City, and they say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But that's not necessarily true. I knew a gynecologist back in the day, and when people came back from Vegas, oftentimes her business picked up, if that makes sense to you. But the NFL, when you think about how great the NFL is, It's a great sport, and I love the fact that we have these two great teams that have been here before. Of course, Kansas City's had more success lately than the 49ers have. But you think Montana to Rice, Montana to Clark, Roger Craig out on the backfield, tackled by Ronnie Lott. You think about those things. And with Kansas City, you got to go back. Even the great Colin Kaepernick, touchdown, Colin Kaepernick. Steve Young, touchdown. We think about those things. But when you think of Kansas City, you're really looking at Patrick Mahomes, because it's been a meteoric rise for him and this team. So they feel that they have a chance to get back and defend their Super Bowl championship. Whether they do or not, I would love to see, because I'm a West Coast guy, I'm not supposed to have a dog in the game. Not supposed to have a dog in the game at all. But I would love to see the 49ers win another championship, because it's been a long time. They haven't won a championship since they beat at that time. It's been such a long time. The last time the San Francisco 49ers won a championship, they were playing at the now torn down Candlestick Park. They beat the San Diego Chargers, who were playing at the now torn down Qualcomm Stadium. Now the Chargers are playing in the beautiful stadium in Southern California, SoFi Stadium. And the 49ers, they play in Levi Stadium. So no matter what happens with this game, I think the legacy for the players is so important, because Kansas City, with Andy Reid going up against Kyle Shanahan, Andy Reid is really like the godfather of football right now. And when you think about how he's won games in Philadelphia, he had the great Donovan McNabb. And I remember the great Terrell Owens played with Philadelphia. He was getting passes thrown to him from Donovan McNabb. Prior to that, he was playing with the San Francisco 49ers. And these two teams, the 49ers, have the history on their side. But the Kansas City Chiefs, they are the team that's really been the mark of the NFL the last couple of years. And when you think about which team has the advantage, I don't know if you have an advantage. I was talking to some former NFL football players, and I gave my prediction. I think the winning score is going to be 34-30. And he had taken back. He thought it was going to be 38-24. I think it's going to be a close game. Las Vegas knows something. If the point spread was 2.5 and then it came back down to 2, they know these two teams are evenly matched. And I don't think they're going to be messing around with the point spread being where you have a team that loses by more than a touchdown. I just don't see that happening. Both teams are very good defensively. The 49ers have shown that they can come from behind, which is not what they want to do. We know that Kansas City's shown that they can come from behind. They've done it all year. But this is one thing that I gotta tie into how you protect your assets. No matter who wins this game. Legalized sports betting has increased the revenue for the league. But officials have warned teams that everyone must steer clear of the casinos. But legalized sports betting, the league is in bed. You ever go to bed with somebody and you say all's fair in love and war? Well, the league has gone to bed with the gaming industry. They just have. Legalized sports betting has increased the revenue, whether you like it or not. Las Vegas has gotten the Golden Knights to come there. For the NHL, they've gotten the Aces to come there with WNBA. They've gotten the Las Vegas Raiders to come to Las Vegas, because people love sports. They're even trying to get the Oakland A's to come to Las Vegas, and there's still some pushback in the Bay Area that they're going to try to build a stadium near Jack London Square on the waterfront to keep the A's in town. But when you have a lot of money, it tends to win out, and that's why the Raiders left. So if they can get there, will the fans support the Oakland A's? But right now it's all about football. To have the Super Bowl played in Las Vegas, a city that players were told stay away from. Going back to the old days of Andy Reid, when Andy Reid was regarded as a good coach, but incapable of winning the big one. Now 19 years later, in his Super Bowl debut at 24-21 loss. Think about this. This guy's been doing the coaching circuit for many, many moons. Shanahan, under his father, was also on the sideline when his father was doing, when his father Mike Shanahan was coaching the Denver Broncos back in the day. But you have two great franchises, the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers, Kyle Shanahan, Andy Reid. Who's going to outcoach who? I already know, in my opinion, touchdown Patrick Mahomes, he may have a better game than Brock Purdy. But Brock Purdy, all he has to do is have a good game. He's not the same athlete as touchdown Patrick Mahomes. No one's trying to say he is. But he doesn't have to be. Get the ball to Deebo Samuel. Get the ball to McCaffrey. Get the ball to Kittle. And also Brandon Ayuk and Jennings. And even you'll have a good chance to move the ball on the Kansas City defense. I know they shut down Baltimore, the Ravens. It was in the rain. And for whatever reason, they just found a way to win that game. Baltimore had a chance to win it. But they held Baltimore to 10 points, 1 touchdown. And if you were to say that Baltimore's offense is more explosive than San Francisco's, well, maybe it is because they beat the 49ers at Levi Stadium just a few weeks ago. But the 49ers defense, I think they can bend but don't break against this Kansas City team. And touchdown Patrick Mahomes, they're going to get their points, but they only scored 17 points on the road at Baltimore against Superman Lamar Jackson. And that was in the rain. It's not going to rain inside the stadium at Allegiant. Hopefully it won't rain inside the stadium. But what I see happening in this game is Patrick Mahomes can buy time. He can get outside of the pocket and kind of stress the 49ers defense. So he's going to find Travis Kelce. The NFL wants to pan up to see his Taylor Swift up in the press box. They want to see that. Or the luxury suites. They're going to show that. All the other movies, they're going to show that. At the same time, it's about, can you contain Travis Kelce if you're the 49ers? What do? You can't really stop Patrick Mahomes. They've tried it in Buffalo. Couldn't stop him. Buffalo was favored to win that game. They tried to stop him in Baltimore. Couldn't stop him. Baltimore was favored to win that game. They were the favorite at home versus Miami in the playoffs. Now they're the underdog again by 2 points based on the most recent spread that I saw. But the point spread doesn't matter when it comes to a team that goes to Super Bowls like every other year. Now they're back-to-back. You got to think about how good that team has been, how battle-tested they've been over the years. And that's why it's tough to stop them. And to me, seeing how good they have been, and then you have the 49ers, they've had to come from behind at home against the Green Bay Packers. They have to come from behind at home again against the Detroit Lions. But the fact that they did it shows you they're resilient. What I like about San Francisco, I just told you what I like about Kansas City. I like touchdown Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. As far as on defense, Chris Jones, he's tough. He's tough to handle. But what I like about the 49ers also, Chase Young, Nick Bosa, Armstead, the 3 physical linemen, and then you have their great linebackers for the 49ers. That's what I like about them also. That's something that I think is going to be great. You can give them praise for that. You can always give them praise. I said give them praise. Give them praise for that. So Kansas City's they're going to make some noise in this game. I know they will. Now, what I like about the 49ers, I said it earlier, they've not lost a game where Deebo Samuel has started. Unless my math is wrong, I don't think they've lost a game where he played the whole game. And he's a problem. And then you have McCaffrey's going to get his 100 yards. He's a problem. Brandon Ayuk is going to get downfield and get open. Jenny's going to get open. Kittle's going to get open. They have a lot more weapons on the offense for the 49ers. They have more weapons offensively than Kansas City has. Because when Kansas City is all about Mahomes getting out of the pocket, he's going to get out of the pocket because that defense puts pressure on you. But if Bosa and Young can contain the edge, then it's going to make it a lot more difficult for Patrick Mahomes. But he's already seen a great defense in Baltimore. He's seen a decent defense in Buffalo. He's seen everything you can throw at him. For me, the key for the 49ers is just trust your offense and use your weapons and don't try to go downfield 50-yard passes like Kansas City can try. It's dink and duck like the days of Joe Montana. It was a 5 and 10 yard outs. And it was Jerry Rice yards after the catch. John Taylor yards after the catch. That's the key for the 49ers. Don't try to throw 40, 50-yard passes. Just pick underneath, and every now and then you might take a shot 30, 40 yards downfield, but don't make a living on it. Run that ball with Deebo Samuels coming out of the backfield. Christian McCaffrey coming out of the backfield. To me, that's their best hope. The defense for the 49ers, they're a bend but don't break. We know it kind of give you a little bit of pause when the Lions came out and they had 24 points at halftime. That was bizarre. You can't spot Kansas City at 21 or 24-7 lead and come back and win that game. That's not going to happen. So you got to match them score for score, or at least keep it close in the first half, and then down the back nine of the game, that's when the 49ers can do their thing and try to win this game. I know for all of the players, they've had a week to just go on pause and get away. They started the media this week, answering questions of the media, and they got the chance to get away from their normal routine. And that's why sometimes players, when they play in the Super Bowl, they have a week off. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get started. But I think all the players are ready. The coaching staffs are ready on both sides. No matter who wins this game, I think you have great opportunities for a franchise. For Shanahan, he's gotten the 49ers to the mountaintop for the second time. And both times he's facing Kansas City. Andy Reid's been there before. And now you look at him doing it again. But I do feel that the team that controls the run game is going to win this game. I look at how Lamar Jackson had success running the ball against Kansas City. He did not have success passing the ball. And he had probably the worst game I've ever seen him play. I don't think Purdy's going to have that bad of a game. It's not going to rain. Purdy does seem to struggle at times when it's raining outside. In the rain, it just doesn't have the same grip. But with this environment at Allegiant Stadium, it's going to be lit. It's going to be, because the NFL controls the fans who get in, and they control the media. It may not be, well, it will be a sea of red because both teams wear red. But will it be a pro 49er crowd? I think so. But Kansas City, they travel also. But for the 49ers, it's still the West Coast. Kansas City's in the Midwest. But I think the 49ers, their key, and I'll talk about it more on Friday, their key is just trusting your run game with Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey. You got Brandon Ayuk, you have Jennings. And also, Kittle's going to have a big game also in this game. I think they have more weapons than Kansas City. I know Kansas City's good. But at the same time, the 49ers are a bend but don't break defense. Kansas City's also stingy. But Baltimore could have won that game. They dropped a touchdown in the end zone. I'm not taking anything away from Kansas City. They're a good team. And the team that wins this game, they deserve to win this game. So I'm still pulling for a fistful of gold because there's gold in them their heels. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. Well, as I tell you, reparations now, reparations forever. I hope they talk about reparations at Super Bowl 58. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, on every Big C Sports Show, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You could call Uber, you could call Lyft, you could walk it off, you can sleep it off, but don't let someone you love get behind the wheel of the car and start drinking after they've been driving. The life you save may be your own. That's my story. I'm taking with it. I want to also thank my beautiful family as I talk about reparations. Reparations now, reparations forever. On my mother's side, my great-grandparents, my grandparents, my beautiful mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Always saying rise and shine, the best person I ever met in my life. On my father's side, my grandparents, and my father, my beautiful brother Todd, that bombastic voice sound like thunder and lightning when time to speak. And my dad always saying go forward in life. And my beautiful daughter Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. My beautiful handsome son Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. You guys are amazing. And as I always tell you, on every Big C Sports Show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day. What about Triple D Brown, Big C? Oh, that's right. Back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He's known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, he said, you float like a butterfly, and you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali said, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat. Every time I listen to Big C Sports, I want to go reparations now, reparations forever. And then I feel like a butterfly, and I sting like a bee, and I rumble, young man, rumble. My beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to deal with that garbage on their own. No one has the right to go upside your head without you calling 911. Call 911. You need more leader in your life. Leader would never hurt you because love is the answer. Anybody going upside your head, that's not love. Call 911. Let the police deal with it. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. And as I always tell you, this is when I honor Dr. King and President Abraham Lincoln. What do they say for Joe Biden to do? They said pass reparations now, pass reparations forever, and get your ass set protection. You know, sometimes when you get home late and your parents tell you, get your ass set protection. We got to make sure you get your asset protection. 800-772-8624. But what did President Abraham Lincoln and Dr. King, Martin Luther King, tell President Biden to do? They said sign reparations now, sign reparations forever. Let's say it one more time. Get your asset protection. 800-772-8624. What did President Abraham Lincoln and Martin Luther King Jr. tell President Biden to do? He said sign reparations now, sign reparations forever. I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super duper fantastic day.